The day the universe conspired against Greg. Greg's day began at 6:45 a.m. when his alarm clock decided it, too, had had enough of life. After years of loyal service, it chose this exact moment to malfunction. Instead of the soothing sounds of ocean waves that usually woke Greg, he was greeted by the relentless screech of static so loud it could wake the dead. Except Greg, who was somehow still groggily tangled in his sheets, dreaming about pancakes. When he finally jolted awake, 7 minutes late, his foot collided with the leg of his bed. The pain shot up his body like an electrical surge, and he let out a sound somewhere between a yelp and a primal scream. "Great start," he muttered, hopping around like a flamingo in a tornado. But Greg was nothing if not determined. "Today's gonna be a good day," he told himself as he shoved a piece of toast into the toaster. Then the toaster sparked, smoked, and died. Awesome. Toast is overrated anyway, Greg grumbled. He managed to scrape together a bowl of cereal, only to realize his milk was more expired than his optimism. With a grimace, he drank his coffee black, burning his tongue, and rushed out the door. He was already 10 minutes late and desperately hoping the boss wouldn't notice. Spoiler, the boss noticed, but that was the least of Greg's problems. Upon arrival at the office, Greg found the elevators out of order, so he had to hike up 6 flights of stairs, lugging his work bag that felt like it was stuffed with bricks instead of reports. By the time he got to his floor, he was panting like he'd just completed a marathon. Greg opened the door to his office, expecting the usual dull hum of fluorescent lights and the quiet drone of his coworkers. Instead, he was greeted by chaos. "Hey Greg, did you get the memo?" shouted Sarah from accounting, holding a tray of cupcakes as if that explained everything. "Memo?" Greg asked, dabbing the sweat from his brow. "Today's company-wide inspection. Management is going to every desk, looking for efficiency hazards. Good luck." She popped a cupcake in her mouth and strolled off. Greg's brain short-circuited. He frantically looked around his cubicle, which resembled the aftermath of a paper explosion. Stacks of unfiled reports towered precariously, an old coffee cup lay forgotten behind his monitor, and a half-eaten bagel from last week sat fossilizing in the corner. "Of course, today is the inspection," Greg mumbled as he stuffed papers into drawers, shoved loose pens under his desk, and hid the bagel in the trash can, praying no one would notice the smell. Just as he was about to sit down and pretend like everything was fine, his computer let out a terrifying beep and died. Greg stared in disbelief. "You've got to be kidding me." He jiggled the mouse, tapped the keyboard, and even tried the classic turn it off and on again move. Nothing. His monitor remained as blank as his brain during most meetings. With no other options, Greg called IT, knowing full well they operated on some ancient version of time, where soon meant whenever we feel like it. After an eternity, or 25 minutes give or take, a guy named Marcus arrived with the deadpan expression of someone who had long given up on life. "What's the issue?" Marcus asked. Greg sighed. "It just died. I think the universe hates me." Marcus tapped a few keys and stared at the screen with a grimace. "Yeah, it's fried. We'll have to get you a new one. Could be a few days." "A few days?" Greg felt his soul leaving his body. "I have reports due today, Marcus. Today, as in right now." "Not my problem, man. Maybe go old school. Pen and paper?" Marcus shrugged, gave Greg a thumbs up for reasons unknown, and vanished. Greg sat there, head in hands, wondering if it was too early to fake a personal emergency and leave. Just then, his boss, Mr. Edwards, appeared. Mr. Edwards had the kind of smile that never reached his eyes and the demeanor of a drill sergeant. "Greg, hope you're ready for the inspection," he said, clapping Greg on the back so hard he nearly knocked him out of his chair. "We're reviewing your department first,